Yo Gotti lost his brother.
Yeah.
Was at a funeral. But Savage, how do we stop that cycle? Because I heard Rick Ross call and say, bro, let's put the guns down. Let's put the masks down. How?
I don't think that shit ever will stop. It's just my opinion.
January 2024 hit Memphis with another moment that stopped everything cold. News spread fast that Big Jook, Yo Gotti's older brother, was finished outside a funeral gathering, and instantly the streets started talking. At first, fingers pointed in the usual direction. Whispers about old beefs and retaliation filled the air. But then the conversation took a sharp left, with some shocking claims pulling Moneybagg Yo into the discussion. People started asking wild questions. Was this really outside enemies, or did something closer to home play a role?
Gotti brother, Big Jook, went on live and basically clowning young Dolph, man, and basically telling, if you don't want to f up your bag, come sign the CMG. Nah, y'all collected souls over that. I ain't with it. Nope. Bro. But this shit is sad, man.
Well, you know, he labeled himself as the king of Memphis, and we both from Memphis. I just took over the city of Memphis, came through with that new wave, new sauce.
Memphis already carries heavy scars from years of loss in the rap scene, and this situation only added more tension. Big Jook, born Anthony Big Jook Mims, wasn't just known as Yo Gotti's brother. He was a serious behind-the-scenes force, someone who moved quietly but held real weight in the city. Law enforcement later described what happened as a planned attack, not random chaos.
Yo Gotti lost his brother.
Yeah.
Was at a funeral and his brother ended up losing his life. But Savage, how do we stop that cycle? Because I heard Rick Ross call and say, bro, let's put the guns down. Let's put the masks down. Let's come together.
Yeah.
Let's build these communities. Let's get this paper together. Let's stop this senseless violence. How?
I don't think that shit ever will stop. It's just my opinion. Like, people been killing forever.
This wasn't an accident, and it definitely wasn't treated like just another street incident. Big Jook had deep ties to Collective Music Group, the CMG camp that dominates Memphis rap right now. He was known for scouting talent, opening doors, and keeping things aligned behind the curtain. Artists like Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngsta, and Glorilla all came up with CMG energy around them, and Big Jook's influence was part of that rise. He never chased the spotlight, but make no mistake, his presence shaped the whole movement. On Saturday afternoon, January 13th, 2024, Big Jook attended what was meant to be a calm moment of respect. A funeral service for Eric E. Allen at Perignon Restaurant and Event Center brought the community together. People were there to mourn and show love, but that peace didn't last. According to early statements from Memphis authorities, shots rang out while Big Jook was outside the venue. Investigators quickly suggested this was intentional and focused, not random timing. Plain and simple, whoever pulled up that day came with one clear objective and followed through without hesitation. This wasn't panic, and it wasn't sloppy. Everything about the way it went down screamed planning and confidence, broad daylight and all. Big Jook was struck multiple times, and the situation unfolded fast, leaving no room for confusion about who the intended target was. Another person with Big Jook was also hit during the chaos. He survived, but reports at the time described his condition as critical, fighting to pull through. For Big Jook, though, there was no recovery. He was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries were too severe. Anthony Big Jook Mims was later pronounced deceased, sending shockwaves through his family, the CMG camp, Memphis, and the wider music world. This is where things start getting frustrating for anyone expecting quick answers. Memphis police released surveillance images tied to what they believed was the getaway vehicle. Multiple witnesses at the scene described seeing a white Ford Explorer speeding away right after the shots rang out. Authorities shared those images publicly, hoping someone would recognize the vehicle or provide a tip that could move the case forward. But the footage came with a major issue. The vehicle had no visible license plate and no clear identifying marks. That made tracking it using standard methods almost impossible. As months passed, updates stayed scarce, and by August 2025, well over a year later, the case still hadn't seen any public breakthroughs. To this day, Memphis police haven't officially named a suspect. No confirmed arrests, no announced persons of interest, and no detailed updates beyond labeling the case as ongoing. Officials continued urging the public to contact Crime Stoppers with any information, stressing anonymity, but the streets stayed quiet. As time dragged on into early 2026, searching for updates led to the same result. Nothing new. No answers, no closure, just another high-profile case stuck in limbo. And when official silence stretches that long, it creates space for speculation. Once the silence from authorities dragged on, the floodgates opened. Suddenly, everybody online had a theory about who was responsible, what the motive might have been, and who was supposedly next to face charges. Some of these takes at least leaned on real history, long-standing tensions and rivalries that had been simmering in Memphis rap for years. But a lot of the noise was straight speculation, cooked up for clicks and views instead of real understanding. To see why this case became such a magnet for rumors, you've got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Big Jook's passing didn't happen in a calm, peaceful era for Memphis hip-hop. This was part of a much longer and darker stretch that the city's rap scene had been dealing with for years. What used to be praised as raw storytelling slowly became overshadowed by real-life loss happening at an alarming pace. Since 2021 alone, more than a dozen serious incidents tied to rap-related tensions have shaken the city. This wasn't just diss tracks and online back and forth anymore. Memphis was dealing with real-world consequences, and that reality made every major situation feel connected, even when proof wasn't always there. At the center of much of that tension sat the long-running rivalry between Yo Gotti's collective music group and the late Young Dolph's paper route empire. This wasn't about charts or bragging rights. It was personal, deep-rooted, and heavy enough to leave permanent damage across the community. Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., had built his name by staying independent and moving on his own terms. He created Paper Route Empire without folding to pressure, and that independence inspired countless artists watching from the sidelines. But on November 17, 2021, Dolph's life ended during a daytime shooting while he was visiting Makita's homemade butter cookies in Memphis. Surveillance footage later showed multiple individuals entering the location and opening fire, ending the life of one of the city's most successful independent artists. Years later, court proceedings tied to Dolph's case added another layer of controversy. During testimony in 2024 and 2025, prosecutors and witnesses, including Cornelia Smith, one of the accused individuals, claimed under oath that Big Jook was involved in placing a financial reward connected to Dolph's passing. These statements weren't online rumors but courtroom testimony, which carries serious consequences if proven false. According to what came out during courtroom testimony, Big Jook was allegedly connected to a middleman named Hernandez Govan. Prosecutors suggested Govan played a coordinating role, with claims that money had exchanged hands tied to earlier attempts involving people close to Young Dolph, including someone known as Paper Route Woo. Phone records were introduced that appeared to show communication between these individuals around key moments, adding more heat to an already tense narrative. The picture painted in court framed Big Jook as a serious figure in the long-running Yo Gotti and Young Dolph rivalry. Not just someone standing on the sidelines, but someone prosecutors implied had taken things beyond music and online back and forth. Still, it's important to stress, this was testimony and argument, not a final ruling or verdict. Here's where things get even more complicated. Despite his name coming up in court, Big Jook was never formally questioned by Memphis police regarding those allegations. He was viewed as a potential suspect in Young Dolph's case, but before investigators could bring him in or get answers directly from him, he was finished himself. The timing raised eyebrows everywhere. Big Jook's name becomes public through sworn testimony, and just months later, he's gone in a targeted daytime attack. That coincidence alone sent social media into overdrive, with people rushing to connect dots, whether they actually fit or not. And that's when the internet took this story in a whole new direction. Within hours of news breaking, speculation exploded across YouTube, X, Instagram, and every corner of hip-hop discussion spaces. One name kept surfacing over and over, spreading fast without any confirmed evidence. Moneybagg Yo. To understand why his name even entered the conversation, you gotta look at context, not conclusions. Moneybagg Yo, born Demario Dwayne White Jr., isn't just another Memphis rapper. He's one of the biggest stars ever to come out of the CMG camp. Signed by Yo Gotti in 2016, Moneybagg had already been grinding locally, building momentum through consistent releases and street-level support. But his partnership with CMG took him from regional buzz to national success. Songs like Said Some turned into massive records, and projects like Too Federal with Yo Gotti showed how tight that relationship was. Over the years, Moneybagg was publicly seen as loyal to the CMG circle, often showing respect and appreciation toward both Yo Gotti and Big Jook for helping guide his career. So when Big Jook passed, Moneybagg Yo mourned publicly, just like others close to the situation. But while that grief played out in real life, the internet wasn't satisfied with that version of events. We're talking about videos flat out claiming Moneybagg Yo had been indicted, arrested, or secretly tied to Big Jook's passing. Some went even further, pushing narratives that he allegedly helped set Big Jook up, had ties to the supposed getaway vehicle, or was involved in hidden internal conflict within CMG. These weren't quiet whispers either. These claims were loud, bold, and packaged for maximum shock value. What made it worse is that these weren't just tiny pages chasing attention. Several of these videos pulled in hundreds of thousands of views, spreading those allegations to massive audiences. Comment sections turned into chaos, with people treating rumors like confirmed facts, breaking down supposed motives, and building entire storylines around claims that had no official backing whatsoever. Once social media gets into that echo chamber mode, things snowball fast. A theory gets repeated enough times, and suddenly people assume there must be truth behind it. But when you actually look at official sources, Memphis police statements, court records, or reporting from established outlets like the Commercial Appeal, there's nothing there. No arrest, no indictment, no questioning, and no indication that Moneybagg Yo was ever named a person of interest in Big Jook's case. Not one legitimate law enforcement source has publicly connected him to the investigation in any form. The reality is that these rumors seem to come from a mix of speculation, unresolved tension, and the public's hunger for answers in a case that's gone cold. To understand why Moneybagg Yo's name even entered these conversations, you've got to look at the complicated street dynamics in Memphis and how they overlap with the rap world. This isn't new, and it's something Moneybagg Yo himself has spoken about openly. In past interviews, he explained that Memphis has long been divided along neighborhood lines that run deep. Yo Gotti comes from North Memphis, while Moneybagg Yo is from South Memphis, specifically the Walker Homes area. Historically, those sides didn't always see eye to eye. There was tension, rivalry, and real-life friction that shaped how people moved. So when Moneybagg Yo signed with Yo Gotti and joined CMG, it wasn't just a business move, it was controversial on the street level. Some people from his own neighborhood viewed it as switching sides, even betrayal. Relationships shifted, and some longtime connections didn't survive that decision. By this point, the internet was fully off the rails. Videos started popping up claiming Moneybagg Yo had been arrested or secretly charged in connection to Big Jook's passing. Others pushed even wilder ideas, saying he supposedly helped set things up, had ties to the alleged getaway vehicle, or was involved in hidden internal tension inside CMG. None of it came with proof, but that didn't stop the narratives from spreading fast. What made it dangerous is that these weren't low-traffic pages talking to themselves. Some of these videos pulled massive numbers, pushing those claims to hundreds of thousands of viewers. Comment sections turned into chaos, with people debating motives, picking sides, and treating rumors like confirmed information. That's the echo chamber effect at work. Once a story gets repeated enough online, people stop asking where it came from. It just starts feeling real. But when you step outside the noise and check official sources, Memphis police statements, court records, or reporting from outlets like the Commercial Appeal, there's nothing there. No arrest, no indictment, no questioning, no mention of Moneybagg Yo as a suspect or person of interest in Big Jook's case. Not a single credible law enforcement source has publicly linked him to the investigation.
Hey, and I was in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I was in Atlanta like the whole week doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back and forth to Atlanta to Memphis.
And that's when you could really make your best work, right? It's like, I always feel like it, you know, it's never, sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not that first tape you putting out when you like shifting all your money towards it. It's like when you got that complete access to the studio.
Exactly.
It's like, yo, I could pull up, I can stay there for as long as I want to, and like really, you know what I'm saying? I don't gotta worry about going to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is my job, you know what I'm saying? So like,
You gotta have this set in your head, like.
and I feel like you could hear that shit in the latest joint where it's like, this is 100% like what I wanna do, how I'm doing it, you know what I'm saying?
This how I'm giving it to you all the way raw, you know what I'm saying? You gonna
Straight
feel
like
it or
that.
not, you know what I'm saying?
That's not opinion. That's what's actually on record. So how did his name even get dragged into the conversation? To answer that, you've got to understand Memphis street politics and how deeply they overlap with the rap world. This is something Moneybagg Yo has spoken on himself, and it matters for context. In interviews, he's explained that Memphis is divided by neighborhoods and territory in ways that go back decades. Yo Gotti comes from North Memphis. Moneybagg Yo is from South Memphis, specifically the Walker Homes area. Historically, those sides didn't always get along. There was tension, rivalry, and real street friction that shaped how people moved. So when Moneybagg Yo signed with Yo Gotti and joined CMG, it wasn't just business to everyone watching. Some people from his own neighborhood saw it as switching sides. That decision cost him real friendships and long-standing relationships. When you really break it down, Moneybagg Yo has consistently shown public loyalty to Yo Gotti and the entire CMG circle. He's spoken openly in interviews about how Yo Gotti mentored him, helped guide his career, and gave him advice during moments that could have completely knocked him off course. By his own account, that guidance played a major role in helping him avoid situations that might have ended his career, or worse. There's also no credible evidence pointing to any internal conflict between Moneybagg Yo and Big Jook, no documented fallout, no public tension, no clear motive that would even make sense for him to be connected to something this serious. That's an important distinction that often gets ignored when rumors start flying. Take the situation involving Memphis rapper Lil Kenny, also known as Kenny G, in late 2025. He was arrested following a police chase involving reckless driving and an attempt to avoid officers, eventually being taken into custody. He faced charges related to that incident, including possession of a controlled substance. Those charges were serious, but they had absolutely nothing to do with Big Jook's case. Still, online narratives tried to tie unrelated arrests into the bigger story. The same thing happened with videos claiming Yo Gotti had reacted emotionally to someone being taken into custody for his brother's passing. Clips from completely different moments were repackaged and presented as if justice had finally been served. Those claims were later debunked, with no confirmation from Memphis police or any other law enforcement agency. The pattern becomes clear when you step back. When official updates are scarce, misinformation rushes in to fill the gap. And in a high-profile case tied to the Memphis rap scene, that gap gets filled fast, with rumors, recycled clips, and outright false narratives. But once you strip away what's been proven false, the real story becomes far more complex, and honestly, more troubling than any clickbait headline. The most serious claims tied to Big Jook don't come from YouTube speculation. They come from sworn testimony connected to the young Dolph case. During court proceedings in 2024 and 2025, multiple witnesses and prosecutors alleged that Big Jook had offered a large financial reward tied to actions against young Dolph. These claims weren't social media chatter. They were statements made under oath, supported by phone records and witness accounts presented in court. Cornelius Smith, one of the individuals accused in Dolph's case, testified that he had received payments connected to earlier failed attempts involving people close to Dolph, including someone known as Paper Route Wu. According to testimony, intermediaries like Hernandez Govan were allegedly used to coordinate communication and distance key figures from direct involvement. It's also worth noting that Hernandez Govan was acquitted in August 2025 of organizing young Dolph's passing. That ruling was a major development. Still, the testimony referencing Big Jook remained part of the public court record, and this is where timing becomes impossible to ignore. Big Jook was finished in January 2024, right as those trials were gaining momentum and explosive claims were becoming public knowledge. That overlap alone has fueled intense debate, even as investigators continue to keep details close to the vest. Big Jook was finished before law enforcement ever had the chance to formally question him about the allegations tied to young Dolph's passing. And when people step back and look at the testimony, timelines, and public information available, one dominant theory keeps coming up over and over. That theory suggests Big Jook's death may have been retaliation, not random, not accidental, but payback connected to claims made in court about his alleged role in actions against young Dolph. According to people analyzing the situation, this explanation lines up with timing, motive, and the long history of back-and-forth violence that has haunted Memphis hip-hop for years. That said, even the most talked-about theory is still just that, a theory. Nothing has been proven in a courtroom. Memphis police have not publicly confirmed a motive. They haven't named suspects. They haven't announced arrests or publicly identified anyone brought in for questioning. Officially, the case remains unsolved. And without charges, trials, or convictions, nobody can say with certainty who was responsible or why it happened. That's a critical point that often gets lost once speculation takes over. There are other possibilities that people bring up, though they carry far less supporting information. Some suggest Big Jook's passing could have stemmed from an unrelated personal issue or street-level conflict with no direct ties to the rap industry. Memphis, unfortunately, does see targeted violence for reasons that have nothing to do with music or celebrity. But given Big Jook's profile, his role within CMG, and the timing of his passing alongside major developments in the young Dolph trials, many observers find those explanations less convincing than the retaliation theory. Now, when Moneybagg Yo gets pulled into these conversations, it's important to separate documented history from exaggerated rumors. His most notable public run-in with law enforcement happened years before his mainstream rise. On March 13, 2016, Tipton County Sheriff's deputies carried out a large operation at his CD release event at the former Maserati Club in Mason, Tennessee. Authorities were targeting probation violations, illegal weapons, and gang activity at the venue. That night, 28 people were taken into custody, including Moneybagg Yo, on charges related to firearms and controlled substances. Deputies reportedly seized multiple weapons, cash, and other items during the operation. Moneybagg Yo later bonded out and even posted publicly afterward, signaling he wasn't shaken by the situation. Public records don't show long-term consequences from that case that impacted his career, suggesting the matter was resolved without major fallout. This all happened early in his rise, before CMG's success fully took off. Back in August 2017, Moneybagg Yo was traveling to a show in New Jersey when shots were fired at the Sprinter van he was riding in near a highway rest stop. 2 people with him were injured, but Moneybagg Yo wasn't hit. He spoke with police, wasn't arrested or charged, and no suspects were publicly named, pointing to him being a target, not the aggressor. In January 2026, rapper Finesse 2 Times accused Moneybagg Yo of cooperating with police in a separate drug case. Those claims spread online fast, but no evidence, charges, or official statements have ever supported them. Looking at Yo Gotti's history, he's acknowledged a street background, but his most notable legal situation came from a 2010 nightclub incident in Memphis that left several people injured. He turned himself in, and all charges were dropped by early 2011. Despite years of rumors and rap-related tension, Yo Gotti has never been charged in Young Dolph's case or related incidents. As for Big Jook, he had no widely reported criminal record before his name surfaced during testimony in the Young Dolph trial. He was known mainly as a behind-the-scenes CMG executive. Before police could formally question him, his life was ended, leaving major questions unanswered. Federal investigations have crossed paths with CMG over the years, adding more layers to an already complicated situation. Asset seizures have been reported, but none of that has resulted in charges tied to Big Jook's passing or brought real answers to his family. Despite non-stop online noise, authorities haven't confirmed a motive, named suspects, or made arrests. The case remains officially unsolved, with more questions than clarity. Yo Gotti has stayed mostly silent publicly, choosing to focus on business and long-term moves instead of speaking out. For many, that silence makes sense given the circumstances. At the end of the day, this isn't just about rumors or viral theories. It's about a cycle of loss that keeps repeating, leaving families and communities carrying the weight. Big Jook's case is still open with no confirmed answers. And that's why separating facts from fiction matters. If this breakdown helped, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more real celebrity stories. Check out the next video on your screen for even more celebrity drama. We'll see you on the next one.